Press Your Luck, the revived game show, recently saw one contestant lose a massive win while taking a risk during the show's final moments. Player Timothy took on David and Dr. Ashley on Thursday's Press Your Luck, where he headed to the bonus round while on an impressive winning streak. Despite landing on some whammies, which wiped out his bank, Timothy had a massive redemption near the end of the show. He won a vow renewal trip to a coastal resort in Chile for him and his wife, Angelica, who was sitting in the crowd for support. The couple also won a 2-week honeymoon trip to Europe, worth over $199,000. As host Elizabeth Banks, 50, asked Timothy if he wanted to enter the Big Bucks Bonanza round to press his luck, Timothy shockingly said yes. "You are not kidding. You're gonna go hard, Timmy," Elizabeth said to the player. "Go hard or go home. That's the only way to do it," he responded. Over in the audience, however, his wife wasn't too happy at the thought of him losing his winnings. With a total of $244,546 in his bank, which included multiple trips, Timothy landed on a whammy for his first spin. While Timothy and his wife were devastated, he still left the game show with total earnings of $50,000 after finding success in his next spins. Wrong move, dude. Although Timothy walked away with some change in his pocket, fans were baffled by his decision to risk his winnings, especially the Love Mania package. Bro had almost $250,000, vow renewal, and a trip to Europe and decided to press his luck and then gets a whammy, one person slammed on Reddit. "I so wanted him to bail once he hit Love Mania, heart, still feeling some sting after that dreadful whammy hit," a second sympathized. His wife looked pissed that he didn't walk away, noticed a third. "He deserved to whammy out. I feel so bad for his wife," another slammed. Frustrating moment. In Thursday's episode, Timothy's dreaded whammy wasn't the only heart-stopping moment. Earlier on in the airing, contestant David was the first one booted out of the game as he chose to press his luck with 3 whammies. He landed on another, giving him 4 overall, automatically eliminating him from the game. After seeing the whammy highlighted on the big board, David addressed his fellow players. Good luck guys, I'm out," he said. Elizabeth reacted strongly to the moment as well, shouting, "Oh," and slamming her hands on the host's podium. "David's game is over tonight." "That is a heartbreaker," Elizabeth added. With Elizabeth as its host, the revived game show premiered its Season 6 on July 18. The set of Press Your Luck was buzzing with excitement as fans tuned in to watch another high-stakes episode of the classic game show. Contestants had gathered to spin the iconic big board, hoping to avoid the dreaded whammy and walk away with a life-changing amount of money. Among the contestants that day was Jason Turner, a charismatic man with a smile that hinted at both confidence and nerves. Little did anyone know that his decisions that day would lead to one of the most controversial moments in recent Press Your Luck history. Jason's journey on the show started strong. With his quick reflexes and a keen sense of timing, he managed to build his total up to an impressive $250,000. His wife, Emily, watched from the audience, her face alternating between pure joy and anxious excitement. Every time Jason avoided a whammy, the audience erupted in applause, and Emily seemed on the verge of tears from the sheer emotion of it all. But then, as the show progressed, the tension in the air began to thicken. Jason had reached a point where most contestants would consider stopping. $250,000 is no small sum, after all. Host Elizabeth Banks, with her trademark smile, turned to him and asked the inevitable question, "Jason, you've got $250,000. That's life-changing money. Are you going to press your luck, or pass?" The crowd collectively held their breath. Emily's eyes were wide, her hands clasped tightly together, silently pleading with her husband to take the money and stop. Jason, on the other hand, seemed torn. He stared at the big board, the flashing lights and tempting prizes luring him in like a siren's call. "One more spin," he muttered to himself, barely audible to the audience. The murmur of anticipation filled the studio as Elizabeth repeated, "What's it going to be, Jason?" Then, as if fueled by a surge of adrenaline, Jason made his decision. "I'm pressing my luck," he said, his voice resolute. The audience gasped, some cheering for the audacity, others visibly cringing at the risk he was about to take. The board word to life. Jason's eyes darted across the squares, trying to time his press perfectly. He slammed the button, but then, there it was. The whammy. The cartoon figure popped up on the screen, laughing maniacally as Jason's $250,000 total vanished before his eyes. The audience fell silent, and the color drained from Emily's face. Jason stood frozen, staring at the screen in disbelief. The whammy had taken it all, every single cent of the $250,000. Social media immediately lit up with reactions. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook were flooded with posts from fans of the show, many of whom couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. Some were sympathetic, understanding that game shows are unpredictable and that anyone could get caught up in the heat of the moment. But others weren't so kind. Jason is the greediest contestant I've ever seen on #PressYourLuck, one tweet read. How do you blow $250,000 like that? I feel so bad for his wife. She was practically begging him to stop. Another viewer chimed in, that poor woman. She knew he was making a mistake. Jason is going to be sleeping on the couch for a long time after this. The criticisms didn't stop there. Online forums dedicated to game shows dissected Jason's decision, with many fans agreeing that he had let greed get the best of him. Some argued that he should have listened to his wife's unspoken pleas from the audience, noting how Emily's body language throughout the episode clearly showed her growing anxiety. She was holding her breath the entire time, one fan wrote on Reddit. It's like she knew he was going to push it too far. And honestly, I feel bad for her because that $250,000 could have really changed their lives. Others, however, took a more empathetic approach. Yeah, it sucks that he lost all that money, but you can't blame him, another user posted. When you're in the moment, it's hard not to keep going. The adrenaline takes over. I just hope he and his wife can laugh about it someday. Emily's visible distress became a major talking point among viewers. As the camera panned to her after the whammy hit,